We are good to go.
Okay, who are you?
All right.
All right, start again.
Start again.
Okay. Who are you?
I'm a man in recovery. I'm a husband, father, brother, a friend, and at times a musician.
Question. All right, we're good to go. We're rolling.
Make it count.
Okay, when did this thing
Yes.
finally make sense to you? You know, how did your story help others? And
When's the music questions come? We're gonna talk about that down the line.
yeah,
Okay.
Determined.
When did this thing finally make sense? What time is it?
It might affect us on what we hear, but we're good.
okay. So, what's your low point, incarceration, rehab story? What's the worst things that happened in your life? You know, you got like 10 million, but pick some ringers.
You went some rehab war stories.
Basically, I don't know, not really. It's kind of like so many things start becoming a problem. How did you like realize that? Did it like your aha moment? What was that? What was that like?
Well, I mean, it was generally always a problem. I was always cognizant of what I was doing was probably not what I was capable of. I started hearing that sentence a lot when I was younger. You got a lot of potential. and a mantra of my mom's became, "What a waste." You know, she would look at me and say, "What a waste." That started around there. A lot of this thing revolves around my dad and the relationship I have with my dad. And when he got sick when I was 16 years old, the booze stopped working. Everything that I had tried had stopped working up until that point. But I hadn't tried heroin, and within a couple weeks of his passing, I reached out to an old high school buddy, an old middle school buddy that was already into heroin, and I sought him out so I could do it, and it worked, and it worked really good, and that became my life, and you know, the first time that you cook it and the first time you do the ritual, I didn't exactly know what I was in for. I just knew it wasn't gonna lead anywhere positive. So there was a battle, but the side that didn't want to hurt and didn't want to feel won out.
You can keep going.
Like, when was your acceptance of being an asshole?
When it was my acceptance of being an asshole,
Basically, you know, what was,
you quickly run out of money when you're living that lifestyle, and I resorted to stealing, lying, and conniving, and it just generally starts with your inner circle. So I really started treating the people that I love like total shit and compromising my own moral code. So that compounds the shame, which contributes to the cycle of that's more stuff I don't want to feel. The less I can feel, the less I have to be aware of what I'm doing to manage and maintain this lifestyle. The things that I would do to the people dearest to me was a pretty good symptom and sign that I'm a fucking asshole, as you put it.
okay.
It was when everything on the outside looked seemingly manageable, and I might not have anything, and I might be strung out, but I might have someone's couch to kick it on and a TV to watch all day, but the inner prison, if you will, and the inner what was going on inside was, in a lot of those moments, is indescribably lonely. The outside circumstances didn't really seem to dictate too much how much worse I could feel about myself. So anytime that there was a consequence, at first it was just like, oh shit, no, here we go again. But then after a while, it was just maybe this will be a chance to just breathe for a second so I can make stuff different.
Incarceration and drug addiction to lead transformed, positive lives. A documentary made for motivational and educational purposes training people who have experienced incarceration and or substance and addiction, as well as mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Our intention is to give hope to people coming out of drug and alcohol rehabilitation and or the penal system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about your relationship with music and that with drugs and alcohol, that relationship, because I know it's shifted.
You know, we come from a musical lineage, and grandfather was a country blues picker, and my dad was obviously a blues man here around town, and he put us to work. We were young, and he put me to work playing drums for him when I was 13. You know, I was a Led Zeppelin fan and a Black Sabbath fan, and I liked all this heavier music as a kid, and then the heavier stuff, the Overkill and the Testament and stuff like that, and the Slayer and the Pantera that came around. But my dad started to find out, because that's the kind of stuff I was playing with my friends, and he found out that I could play a beat a little bit, and I had pretty good timing, but not any sense for the blues. But he put me to work playing blues, and I wasn't particularly a blues fan at first. And I remember saying to my brother one time, I says, the blues sucks. And my brother looked at me and he said, you suck. But somewhere along the line in these clubs and these bars that I grew up in, something clicked, and I think it was either sitting behind my dad on the drums playing or watching him play where I got it. And I felt it. And I wanted to be all about it. I dived into the blues and the booze. In the scene, there's the proverbial, you know, can't play the blues unless you live it. My dad lived hard and played hard, and God dang it, I wanted to be just like him, you know what I mean? And while he was sick, I picked up the guitar as a method of therapy, and I would sit in my grandma's barn and I would smoke a joint and I would play guitar passionately and learn from my dad's old tapes and VHSs for 6, 7, 8 hours at a time, and I would do that daily. I've always been a musician, and I've always gotten by and made a half-assed living playing music, and I used to call myself a musician, but what I was is really just a junkie who dabbled in music is all I was, and there was a lot of wasted time and a rapid downward spiral, and all the things that go along with that came to pass. It's like life and death stuff, you know what I mean? Something got through to me. You know, I don't know what that something is, but it wasn't of me. I hesitate from calling it God, but I don't know what else to call it, you know? And if it was available to me, and something's available to me, it's available to anybody. If I can make it out, you can make it out. Yeah.
And cap. Time. You
I'm
ready?
not talking
Yeah,
about that.
ready.
Oh.
It's been slutty puppy magic.
Slutty puppy magic. Gross. That sounds
Tell me when you're ready.
messy. I'm ready now.
Fecal freaks, butthole surfers.
Absolutely. Okay. How old were you when you took your first substance? Do you remember who you did it with? And
Yeah. We really got to go through these again, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Or you want to do the music ones here?
Let's do the music ones first.
What's wrong with the other answers at the other place?
Nothing.
For the other
Truth is, all of them get used because what happens is you cut them up, so you got all the dialogue put together into a mishmash,
Yeah.
and then you end up with this like beautifully eloquent sentence that you wouldn't have spit out the first time or the last time. That's the goal anyway.
See if that happens.
Okay.
Let's find out.
You got somewhere to be?
Is that one of the questions?
You're talking about how you can look back and hindsight's 20/20. You can always see you can see all these instances where you went left when you should have gone right, and after a point you forget what it is to go right. You get into a habit, this repetitious situation. Can you tell me kind of more about what going right looks like? Because I'm sure it's going to be different for everybody. What does going the right direction look like to you?
Part of it is starting to surround yourself with people that are going right. What was that look? Did you give me a look?
No, man.
On Recovery, we talk about hanging with the winners, and pre-abstinence, Michael didn't know who the winners were. I just knew I was losing a lot, And I remember I used to ask my buddy Al, man, who had long-term sobriety, and I didn't want to come back to recovery, man, and I was beaten, and I didn't want to fucking see the winners, and I just thought they were all full of shit, and I was really, and I asked Al who the winners were, and he said we take turns. I thought that was a cool way of putting it, but the ones that have their moments, that are hitting home runs, sometimes, I seek them out now. I know what I know. I already know what I know. I know how to associate with the same old people, and because I choose to disassociate with them now, doesn't mean like I'm on this moral high ground judging them. It just means like I'm starting to value and love myself a little bit more, to where like I know what that gets me. It's the show me your friends, I'll show you your future type deal.
I'm trying to keep my face straight.
Part of the relearning process is in songwriting, because like I've written some good songs, man. I have, and generally they come out of like when I come out of one of these runs and my head's clearing up a little bit, and I look at myself and look at what just happened, and it's fucking a totally different life. It's like waking up from a dream, and I'm like, well, that was a fucking harrowing experience, and I got to document this in the music, and some fucking good songs that come about. But all the songs are always about, and to me, all the good songs are about like trying to find our way home, and what we see and experience, and who we meet along the way out and along the way back, and stuff like this existential contemplation. But yeah, I had to reevaluate what my idea of success was when it came to music, because like here was my dad who had that it thing, and in my head it was just like, why isn't he etched up on the fucking Mount Rushmore of guitar players? It's like talent doesn't equate success, right? And like I'm sitting next to another one, this dude right here, Vince. Well, I'll tell you about Vince. And I'm this 18-year-old guitar player. Next thing you know, I'm on the stage at Red Rocks and playing before the Doobie Brothers and stuff like that. And I started to think like this success is Michael's God-given right. And after Stevie, you don't have to use this, or maybe you can use it, but like after Stevie Ray Vaughan died, there was like this vacuum where people were looking for the next Stevie Ray Vaughan. You remember this? And I knew of 3 guitar players coming out of Texas, and it was Ian Moore, it was Chris Duarte, and it was you. And I knew about Vince. And Lewis and Florax introduced me to Vince. They hooked us up at some rehearsal. We did a couple gigs together, and Vince had an established career and had toured the world and stuff like that. And what did you do? You said, I want to bring you on board, Buckle. Like he wanted to bring the homies along. It was that type of thing. And So we did an album together, and then he didn't just keep it the Vince Converse band. It was like Hornbuckle Station. Like he integrated my name and stuff like that. Like he took me under his wing. And the revelation that I had about success in music is I look back on my life and I can say, and you know, hindsight's 20/20. I can say, man, I went left when I should have went right there. And the thing is it becomes a pattern and it becomes cyclical. Of like I'm always going left, and after a while, I only know how to go left when I'm supposed to go right. And I keep going in circles and circles, and I don't want to speak for the man sitting next to me, but have gotten into that pattern, and you know, you look and you see, you know, how the trajectory of my life might have changed had I had some direction, and had I not compromised myself and gotten involved with people. And I don't want to say regret, but it's like there's some lessons if you decide to look at your past patterns and associations, and so the music now is about it's just about joy, you know what I mean, and then the chips are gonna fall where they're gonna fall.
And kept that.
What was the feeling of when, you know, like, let's take you back to passing out on stage, overdosing on stage at the Oriental, and you thought it was over, and then coming back to the new light of that situation where you just barely by the skin of your teeth saved your career, your recovery, your life, your mom was at the end, you know what I mean? What with that journey, what was that experience like?
You know, it was just one more experience of, yeah, this is who I am. The closest relationships with me, and my mom in particular, is the big one that mattered to me. That look in her eye, that continuous fucking perpetual look of disappointment and letdown, and that's what hurt. You know, she doesn't look at me like that anymore. Do you want me to keep going back there, or what did you?
I was just, you know, what my question was that was perfect.
That was fucking solid gold.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. You
know,
look,
just
yeah, that's
the pain of active addiction with a talent that you know that you